So this right here, this is video number 1 of my AUTOFUSION series, where I'm going to be taking this truck, this chassis, this motor, this frame, this body, all kinds of different things, and I'm going to be swapping them onto one another. But swapping isn't really a good word. When I think of swapping, I think of you just have a truck with a straight 6, you want to put a V8 into it, you're going to be swapping. But AUTOFUSION, the reason why that works so well for what I'm doing is I'm taking my favorite parts of this vehicle, my favorite parts of this vehicle, I'm putting them together to make something that is brand new, nice, and something that you may have never seen before. And it is going to be really good, and it is going to work. So the idea is, I want to use this body, but I want to use this drivetrain, this chassis, this suspension, this firewall, this dash, this steering wheel. Well, maybe I'll change the steering wheel, and I want to put that body onto it. So to just say a chassis swap doesn't really work. So we're going to be using this platform, that platform, platforming them together through AUTOFUSION. That's exactly what's happening for this entire video series. And right now, after the intro, we are going to bring it to about a month back when I picked up this. What this is a 2000 Lincoln Town Car, and this video is going to be about the process of how I got this car to this point to eventually receive the body of this truck. I know you're gonna like it. It's gonna be a good one.
And now, you're watching the concept of C-notching a truck frame to make it tuck-friendly and a retail store's idea of tuck-friendly are two completely different things. Channel of YouTube, welcome to AUTOFUSION.
All right, so here it is. We just picked it up. I'm letting it run a little while. We just agreed on a price. Everything looks good. This is something that I've been looking for quite a while, and I'll give you a little bit more details on the gig. We're gonna get it loaded up, get it dropped off at the house, and then go from there. I haven't bought a car in a while, man. This is exciting. And as I'm looking in the car, everything seems really good. Ice cold AC. I don't know if I'm gonna use this floor, but I know I don't need the doors. I don't need the trunk. I don't need the hood. He's done all of the work for me, so this is like perfect deal. We are back at home, coming in hot. Ooh-wee, boy. This is crazy. Man, I love this, dude. All right, I'm gonna just put it right here so we can talk about it. Shut it down. Ugh. Bro, you would not believe how excited I am for this. This car, this is exactly how he sold it. See, I had actually reached out to him a few months back as I saw him parting out the car, and he was just in the city that I'm in. And I explained to him what I'm trying to do, and I explained to him that, dude, if you sell everything that you can sell off of it, but leave it running and driving where I could still see that it is going to work, also leave AC. If anybody hit him up to buy off any AC parts or any running parts, I told him, don't sell it. But at the end of the day, he could of course do what he wanted with it, but he did exactly that. So I got this car as you see it right now, full transparency, for $800. Now $800 for something like this might look like a lot to some people, but in reality, where can you get a running, driving V8, AC, modern suspension, disc brakes, everything? This is a 2000 Lincoln Town Car, and the plan is to put my truck body and a truck bed on top of this to make the ultimate shop truck, and it is going to be awesome. So what we're going to do right now, we have to start to cut everything off, and without me having a lift, I'm going to have to cut it apart in pieces. So I think the most safest approach and the safest thing for me to start on is getting the windshield and the rear window out, just so that way I don't have glass everywhere. And then I'll start chopping. I think I'm gonna get the roof off, maybe salvage a couple pieces and parts that I still can, but in reality, for $800, I'm not trying to make any of my money back. I just want to get all the garbage out, get the windshield out, get the glass out, and let's get this thing rolling, man. I don't know if you could tell, but I am excited for this. So actually, one of the first issues that I see, goddamn dolls on my table. Let me know if you guys like the content kind of like this, where we're just hanging out. It's going to be a little bit more long form, honestly, because I'm going to be working on the car and talking to you about it. A lot of the times when I'm doing like a paint video and I'm just sanding, there's not much to say or see because I'm just sanding. But in this video, or this video series rather, I'd like to maybe make these videos a lot longer because there's so much going on. So this car is extremely long compared to my shop. My shop usually just has Civics and smaller cars and whatnot, and this is considered a full size. So I'm going to go ahead, take off the bumper and the bumper cover in the rear. I'm going to pull the bumper as well. It's hard to say what I'm going to be using and not using, so I don't want to cut off more than necessary. And the size socket that it is right here. So that's that. We don't worry about socket sizes for a car like this. The bumper is garbage, obviously, but now the actual crash bar or real bumper, where that was just the bumper cover, I might actually be using this on the truck. And actually, let me show you and talk to you a little bit more about the truck. So what it is a 1968 Ford F350. It's my shop truck. I've had it for quite a while. I'd like it to be a lot better. Right now, it's a straight 6. It can't go more than 50 miles an hour because the gearing is just so ridiculous. No AC, dry rotted tires. It's not that good of a vehicle. So putting that truck on this is going to make it pretty much dailyable. I mean, it's going to be awesome. Let's what the heck. I'm gonna go ahead and pull at least the front half into the shop. No need to work out in the sun. I don't gotta pull it in all the way. Where'd my dog go? Lola! All right, so now I made some headway around the car, and I actually pulled all the wiring back of everything that's going to be in the areas that I'm going to be cutting to take the roof off. There was wiring running up this way, also in the back, the rear deck. I cut that whole thing out. Now the rear window, rear windshield, whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to leave that in there and cut around it because it's in there really tightly. I don't want to mess around with it any longer than I need to. So there's two ways that I could approach this. Number one, to make the least amount of cuts as possible, which would be the most logical thing to do. But another thing that I have to consider is how heavy this stuff is. And if you had a lift and you can run 2 boards through the car and just lift it up by the roof and get everything out of there, of course you'd want to make as little cuts as possible, but I might have to cut it a little bit more strategically just because, like I was saying, the weight. I might just make a cut here, somewhere in the back. Let's just start cutting and get this roof gone. That's the next step. Grab this end, like this. It's right here, and just flip it up. And just let it. thing that I wanted to point out, obviously as I'm going, there are wires being disconnected, reconnected, there's grounds getting ripped off and everything, and I'm putting some back, not necessarily putting them back if what they went to was gone. So every so often I'm going to stop and make sure that the car is going to still start on its own. So as you can see, and as you can tell right now, the car is started. It's fine. It's running. And dude, the coolest thing about this car is that it's got, even right now, dude, ice cold AC. One thing that kind of got me that I read about was there's this little switch right here. Now if there's a ball in here, and if that red button gets tripped by the ball, it thinks the vehicle flipped over. So as I'm cutting and as I'm doing these things, I gotta make sure to keep going back to that. It's like a fuel cutoff safety switch that a lot of the Fords have. So I'm just making sure that's all good. So now that we got the roof off, I was hoping to get it off in one piece, but it was just way too heavy. So I'm gonna go ahead and go for cutting off the rear quarters to eventually get to the floor. And then if I didn't do a good enough job explaining what exactly is going on, this chassis is going to receive the body of my truck, but I'm leaving this firewall, probably this dash, steering wheel, pedals, everything. It's already all set up, already works, already good to go. So why overcomplicate it? And then when it comes to making the dash fit and look period correct, I will worry about that when I get there. But man, for me to just be cutting up this car at my house, doing exactly what I want to do for my project truck, my shop truck, what a great feeling, dude. I'm excited to be working on this thing. Next day now, so as I was cutting last night or yesterday, I did make it pretty far. You see we got the whole back half out of here. One thing that I wanted to point out is with the fuel cell or fuel tank, I don't know if cell is a race car and tank, but either way, with where the fuel goes here, the floor was humped up all around it, and the actual mounting strap for the tank was attached to the floor itself. So now I just have some ratchet straps, and it's in here pretty good. I just again wanted to keep it temporary, that way the car can still run, drive, and move. They're obviously not going to be ratchet strapped in the end, but I had to lower the tank because I had to strategically make some cuts in here and do them very carefully. There are definitely things that I do not want to hit. I don't want to hit anything, to be honest. I don't even really want to nick the frame if I don't have to. So at this point, I haven't fully committed yet to what I want to do as far as the floor goes. I know with the town car, I'm going to be using everything from about here on up with the pedals and all that stuff that I was talking about earlier. But the truck cab, I'm going to be channeling it, or the truck cab might sit a little bit lower than the floor sits in the truck as is. So I think I'm going to shoot for peeling the floor back to about here, because I might use this entire floor in the truck and just set the truck body on top of it. At this point, I want to get the car out of here. It has made such a mess, and then I had a little bit of trouble getting the car going. I want to get the car out of here and then we'll talk about it. And it had this bomber seat sitting around. Come on, Lola, get out of the way. Yeah, this is sick, dude. Watch out, Lola. Woo! When the AC is still ice cold, I'm gonna just leave it here for right now. I want to get the shop cleaned out. Let's bring the camera over here so we could really soak it in. Looking really good. So as I was working all around the car, and you kind of saw how I started in the back and I worked my way forward. Now I might still go a little bit more forward with it, with how much I'm going to be cutting. I kind of like to let the project take its own path, if that makes any sense. So now let me tell you about some of the problems that I had me stumped for a few hours. So I was not getting power at my fuel pump. The pump just was not priming. I thought it was that inertia switch, but that was fine. So then I said, okay, let me look at relays, let me look at fuses. Something must have happened. I must have shorted something out, and everything looked fine over there. What the problem actually ended up being was when I got rid of the straps off of the fuel tank and I just put the ratchet straps on here just to hold it to the frame, because before it was attached to the floor, the tank was no longer grounded. So I just ran a little ground strap from the corner of the tank to the frame itself, and that fixed it. That's all it needed, and it's completely fine. So what a cool car, what a cool project. I hope you guys are excited to see it. I want to get the shop cleaned out before I get this back in there and figure out what exactly my next move is. We'll see where else this goes, man. Good progress thus far. As you can see, we are platforming. We are AUTOFUSION-ing through AUTOFUSION, through the platforming. We have this platform, we have that platform. At this point, this platform is about ready to receive that platform, and you can really see what we're going for just by seeing it laid out. This no longer looks like a car. This no longer looks like a truck. What this is right now is a platform. Now we need to get this platform to the point where this body is ready to go onto that, and that is what AUTOFUSION is. So this has been episode number 1. I hope you can see the vision. I hope you can see where this is going. I hope you like this video. Hope you subscribe. Hope you leave a comment. Let me know what you think about all this thus far. And I hope to see you on the next video and everyone after that. I'm out.